The summer heat hung heavy over the plains of Ankara. Dust clung to armor and skin alike. Two empires had collided here. Only one would survive. By midday, the illusion of Ottoman invincibility was gone. Lines bent, formations dissolved. Fear moved faster than commands. Sultan Bayezid's army was unraveling. Orders were shouted, then lost in noise. Men looked over their shoulders. Some never looked back. Timur's forces pressed inward like a tightening fist. War elephants smashed through broken infantry. Each step crushed hope beneath their weight. The center could not hold. Mercenaries sensed the shift. Gold mattered more than loyalty. Entire units turned their blades mid-battle. Panic became contagious. At the heart of the chaos stood Sultan Bayezid, once feared across continents, now surrounded by collapsing lines. The thunderbolt was trapped. His bodyguards fell one by one. Horses screamed, steel rang and snapped. There was no clear path left. Every retreat route was sealed. Mongol spears formed a living wall. Escape was no longer a plan, it was a gamble. Then something strange happened. On the Ottoman right flank, there was silence, a pause that felt unnatural. Through the dust, dark shapes emerged, not running, not retreating, riding forward in formation. 5,000 knights in heavy black armor, their plates scarred and dented from years of war. These men were not Ottomans, they were something else. They were Serbs, European heavy cavalry, out of place in an eastern battlefield, and utterly unstoppable at full charge. At their head rode Stefan Lazarević, tall, battle-hardened, silent beneath his visor. No speeches were given, no prayers spoken aloud. Visors dropped in unison, lances leveled toward the enemy. They did not charge to win, they charged knowing they might not return. This was not heroism, this was necessity. The impact was catastrophic. Light cavalry shattered on steel. Men and horses fell together. Momentum became a weapon. Timur watched from a distant rise, a conqueror who had broken empires before. He studied the charge carefully and did not interrupt it. Instead, he pointed and spoke words that would survive centuries. "Those are not men," he said. "They are lions." Stefan carved a corridor through chaos, not for conquest, not for glory, but toward a single man. He reached the Sultan, bloodied, exhausted, still fighting. Stefan shouted for Bayezid to flee. He offered his own horse, even his own life, anything to buy time. Bayezid refused. Pride held him in place. The thunderbolt would not run, even as the storm closed in. Stefan understood. He could not save the Sultan, but he could save the future. He turned back into the fire, covering the escape of Bayezid's son. The Serbian knights fought their way out, against impossible odds, against inevitable defeat. The charge was over. The damage was done. The Ottomans would fall this day, but not without memory. Ankara was lost. Bayezid would be captured. The empire would fracture. History had shifted. Yet one image remained burned into the dust: a Christian prince saving a Muslim ruler at the edge of extinction. More disturbing still, Stefan had saved the man who ordered his father's execution, a debt written in blood. This was not loyalty. It was not forgiveness. It was something colder, something calculated. To understand why Stefan rode that charge, we must go back further, to a battlefield where a boy lost his father and learned what survival truly costs. To understand Stefan's choice at Ankara, we must rewind 13 years, to a place where Serbia bled and innocents died. The field was called Kosovo Polje, the field of blackbirds, a wide plain beneath an open sky, where destiny waited patiently. In 1389, Serbian banners gathered here, nobles, knights, the full strength of the realm. Across the field stood the Ottomans, disciplined, organized, hungry for Europe. The battle was brutal and brief. Steel met steel. Men fell by the thousands. The ground drank deeply. By sunset, the Serbian army was destroyed. The nobility lay dead or dying. Command had collapsed. The kingdom was beheaded. Prince Lazar was killed, ruler of Serbia, father, symbol. With him died an entire generation of leadership, judges, generals, statesmen. The kingdom did not fall immediately. It lingered, stunned like a body without a head. In the capital of Kruševac, the news arrived quietly. No cheers, no screams, only silence. The kind that follows catastrophe, the kind that forces decisions immediately. At the center stood a 12-year-old boy, Stefan Lazarević, too young to rule, too important to ignore. The crown did not fit his head, the sword did not fit his hands, but the danger was very real and very close. The true ruler now was his mother, Princess Milica, a widow and a strategist. She understood the situation instantly. Serbia was defenseless. The army was gone. Enemies were circling. From the north, Hungary watched carefully. King Sigismund saw opportunity. Territory without defenders. Land waiting to be claimed. From the south, the Ottomans regrouped. They had lost their sultan at Kosovo, but not their ambition. They would return. Serbia stood between two predators. Neither offered mercy, only different forms of extinction. A choice had to be made. Milica calculated without sentiment. War on two fronts meant annihilation. Honor would not save them. Only submission might. The Hungarians offered conquest. The Ottomans offered protection. At a price, a terrible one. Serbia would become a vassal state. Tribute would be paid. Troops would be supplied. Loyalty enforced by fear. But Bayezid demanded more. Something personal. Something irreversible. A hostage of flesh and blood. He demanded Stefan's sister, Princess Olivera, for his harem, as insurance. This was not diplomacy. It was leverage, a human shield against rebellion. The farewell took place in the courtyard. No celebration, no joy, only restraint. Olivera did not scream. She did not resist. She understood the bargain. Her body for her people. Stefan watched in silence, a child forced to learn quickly. Power was not justice. It was survival. That day forged him. Honor became negotiable. Dignity became optional. Existence became everything. Soon after, Stefan made his own journey, south, to the Ottoman court, to face his father's executioner. He expected humiliation, perhaps death, perhaps imprisonment. He prepared for all three. Instead, Bayezid surprised him. The Sultan studied the boy carefully, not as prey, but as potential. Bayezid did not treat Stefan as a captive. He spoke to him as an equal, almost as a son. It was deliberate. This was manipulation of the highest order. Respect replaced terror. Gratitude blurred hatred. Chains were wrapped in kindness. Bayezid warned him about Hungary, promised protection, promised survival, as long as loyalty remained absolute. Stefan returned to Serbia changed. Still a prince, but no longer innocent. The vassal had been born. Under Ottoman shadow, Serbia stabilized. Fields were replanted, cities repaired, life continued. But the price was constant readiness. The Sultan would call, and Stefan would answer, without hesitation. He trained relentlessly, learning Ottoman tactics, speed, deception. He combined them with European steel, heavy armor, discipline, shock. The boy of Kosovo was gone. In his place stood a weapon, sharpened by necessity, and soon Europe would feel its edge. By the mid-1390s, Europe could no longer ignore the Ottomans. The threat was no longer distant. It was knocking on the gates, and Hungary felt it first. King Sigismund of Hungary understood the danger. Unlike most Western rulers, he had fought the Ottomans before. He knew what was coming. Letters were sent across Europe, to France, to Burgundy, to the courts of Christendom. The message was simple. This was not a border war. It was a fight for survival. A crusade was declared. The response was enthusiastic, too enthusiastic. Knights rode east, dreaming of glory, not understanding the enemy. French nobles led the host, young, wealthy, certain of their own greatness. They spoke of honor, of chivalry, of victory guaranteed by faith. Reality did not concern them. To them, the Balkans were backward, its people expendable, including the Serbs, who they saw as lesser Christians. Stefan watched from the shadows, a vassal bound by oath, a Christian bound by faith, trapped between annihilation and betrayal. If he joined the crusade and failed, Serbia would be erased. If he stayed loyal to Bayezid, he would damn his reputation forever. Stefan waited. He studied the Crusaders. Their camps were loud, undisciplined. Wine flowed freely. Discipline was optional. They believed victory inevitable. Arrogance replaced caution. Across the river Danube, Bayezid prepared carefully. Silent camps, tight formations. Stefan recognized the difference instantly. He had trained with this machine. He knew how it fought and how it killed. In September 1396, the armies met near Nicopolis, a fortress overlooking the river, a trap waiting to close. Sigismund begged the French to slow down, to let infantry lead, to absorb the first blow. They laughed. Honor demanded they charge first. Peasants could not steal their glory, not today, not ever. The French cavalry surged forward, lances down, banners flying, steel thundered uphill. At first, it worked. Ottoman irregulars broke and fled. The knights cheered. Victory seemed near. Then they reached the hilltop, and everything changed. The retreat had been a lie. The trap revealed itself. Sharpened stakes waited in silence. Behind them, janissaries stood firm, disciplined, unmoving. Horses impaled themselves. Knights fell tangled in armor. Strength became weakness. Steel became a coffin. The French were slaughtered, dragged down, finished in the mud, the flower of chivalry destroyed. Sigismund launched the Hungarian army, desperate to save the day, this time with discipline and purpose. For a moment, it worked. The Ottoman center bent. Bayezid watched in disbelief. Defeat loomed. This was the turning point. History balanced on seconds, one decision away from collapse. Bayezid reached for his final weapon. Hidden behind the hills, the Serbian cavalry waited, fresh, uncommitted. The signal was given. Stefan mounted, armor locked. The charge began. 5,000 Serbian knights crashed into the Hungarian flank, not as allies, as executioners. The impact shattered the crusade. Formations collapsed instantly. Standards fell. Panic spread. Sigismund saw the truth too late. The man he hoped to liberate Serbia had destroyed him instead. He fled by river. The Battle of Nicopolis was over. The last great crusade of the Middle Ages ended in disaster. Europe had failed. Bayezid ordered vengeance. Thousands of prisoners were executed, one by one, without mercy. Stefan stood beside the Sultan, silent, unmoving, watching Christians die by his victory. From that day on, Europe gave him a name, the Christian Slayer, a monster in armor, but monsters are not born without reason. In 1402, the Ottoman world collapsed in a single afternoon. On the plains near Ankara, a storm from the east arrived. His name was Timur. Bayezid marched with confidence, the same confidence that had crushed Crusades, but this enemy fought differently, and fought without mercy. The Battle of Ankara was chaos. Dust swallowed armies, allies vanished, orders dissolved into screams. Stefan fought beside Bayezid, as he always had, not for faith, not for loyalty, but for survival. When the Ottoman lines broke, Stefan did not panic. He gathered his men and carved a path out of hell. Few escaped Ankara intact. Stefan did. His cavalry moved like a blade, cutting through confusion. Bayezid was captured, chained, paraded. The invincible Sultan was broken. The Ottoman Empire fractured instantly. Sons turned on sons. Governors declared independence. The Balkans breathed again. For the first time in decades, Serbia was free from Ottoman command, not by victory, but by collapse. Stefan returned home changed, older, harder, no longer a pawn. He made a dangerous choice to abandon Ottoman vassalage and turn west toward Hungary. King Sigismund remembered Nicopolis, but he also remembered courage. Stefan was no longer an enemy, he was an asset. A pact was forged. Stefan became despot of Serbia, a Christian ruler once more, legitimized by the West. Sigismund gave him something priceless, Belgrade, a fortress guarding Europe's gateway, the key to the Danube. Stefan transformed it, stone by stone, tower by tower. Belgrade became a wall against the east. Engineers reinforced its defenses, markets flourished inside, churches rose beside armories, a capital reborn. But Stefan did not forget the Ottomans. He knew they would return. Empires rarely die quietly, they recover. He trained relentlessly, heavy cavalry, infantry formations, discipline above all. Stefan also turned inward, to books, to poetry, to faith. He wrote of suffering, of loss, of divine testing, a warrior wrestling with God. Europe noticed. This was not a barbarian warlord. This was a philosopher king, a rare thing. In 1408, Sigismund founded a secretive brotherhood, an order sworn to defend Christendom. Its symbol was ancient, the dragon. Stefan was among its first members, not for spectacle, but for trust. He had earned it. The Order of the Dragon was a warning to Ottomans, to rebels, to traitors. Its oath was brutal, absolute loyalty, no retreat, no mercy for enemies of the faith. Stefan understood such oaths. He had lived them and paid their price in blood. Belgrade became a symbol, a line drawn in stone. Beyond it lay Europe, behind it survival. Merchants arrived, scholars followed, soldiers stood watch, a city alive with purpose. Yet peace never truly came. Ottoman princes skirmished, Hungarian politics shifted, threats never vanished. Stefan balanced alliances carefully, never trusting fully, never exposing weakness. Experience had taught him caution. He was no longer called a slayer. Now they whispered another name, the Dragon of the Danube, a guardian forged in fire. His enemies feared him, his allies respected him, his people depended on him, and history watched closely. But time does not spare warriors. Old wounds ache, battles leave shadows, even dragons tire. Stefan had survived crusades, sultans, conquerors from the east, but fate waits patiently. A single hunting accident changed everything. A fall, a wound, a slow fading. In 1427, Stefan died without an heir. The dragon's line ended quietly. No battlefield, no final charge. Belgrade passed to Hungary. Serbia weakened once more. The shield cracked, but did not break. Decades later, the Ottomans would return, stronger, smarter, patient. Yet they would remember this city, this ruler, this resistance, a delay that changed history. Stefan was never a saint, never a villain. He was something rarer, a man forged between two worlds. When Stefan Lazarević died, there were no great bells across Europe, no crusade, no final battle. His death passed quietly, almost unnoticed beyond the Balkans. But silence does not mean insignificance. It often hides it. Serbia weakened again. Without his leadership, alliances fractured, old dangers returned. Belgrade changed hands, then changed again. Empires circled patiently, waiting. Yet Stefan's legacy endured, not in conquest, but in delay, in time stolen from collapse. Because of him, the Ottoman advance slowed. Europe prepared. Walls rose. History often forgets defenders. It celebrates conquerors. But without men like Stefan, there would be nothing left to conquer. Legends began to form. Some true, many exaggerated, all shaped by fear. To Western chroniclers, he remained a paradox, a Christian knight who fought Christians, a savior who wore the enemy's armor. Stories darkened with time. They always do. Complex men are simplified. Nuance is lost. One symbol survived clearly: the dragon, not as a monster, but as a guardian. The Order of the Dragon outlived Stefan. Its members ruled across Eastern Europe. Its emblem spread, a coiled beast defending the cross. Among those influenced was a Wallachian prince, Vlad II, a man who adopted the dragon as his name, Dracul. His son inherited more than a title. He inherited fear, legend, and reputation. Vlad III would become infamous, not because of Stefan, but because myths travel faster than truth, and shadows grow long. The connection was symbolic, not direct. No bloodline, no secret teachings, only shared imagery. Yet history rarely corrects itself. It prefers stories, especially frightening ones, especially simple ones. Stefan was never a vampire, never a monster. He did not drink blood, he spilled it. And he spilled it for survival, for a people caught between empires, for a future he would never see, for time. In Serbia, his memory is different. A poet, a lawgiver, a builder of cities. His writings survive, not triumphant, but sorrowful, meditations on suffering and faith. They reveal a man exhausted by violence, haunted by choices, yet unbroken, still believing. This is the part history rarely shows: the cost of survival, the weight of command, the loneliness of leadership. Stefan lived between worlds, Christian and Muslim, East and West, faith and necessity. He was shaped by childhood trauma, refined by war, hardened by betrayal, and remembered through myth. Heroes are easy to love, villains are easy to hate. Stefan was neither. He was real, and reality is uncomfortable. It asks difficult questions about compromise, about survival. What would you choose if every option led to blood, honor, or endurance? History judged Stefan slowly, not by victory, but by what still stood after him. Belgrade, Serbia, memory. Empires rise by the sword, but sometimes civilization survives because one man refused to let it fall.